So the NBA playoffs are finally here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going series by series and making my predictions on who I think is going to win each and every matchup that we have in the NBA playoffs from the first round all the way to the finals, and who I think is going to be winning the NBA championship this season. So let's jump into it. So starting off in the Western Conference, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder as the #1 overall seed, and they're going up against either the Phoenix Suns or the Golden State Warriors, so whoever wins that playing game and earns the 8th seed in the NBA playoffs. But honestly, I don't think it matters who wins out of Phoenix or Golden State. They're both probably going to lose to Oklahoma City in the first round. Oklahoma City has been the best team in the NBA all season long. They're elite both on the offensive end and the defensive end, and obviously they have an MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. If Phoenix wins the game against Golden State and they're Oklahoma City's first round matchup, I do think they could punish Oklahoma City in a game if the Thunder had a bad shooting night, just due to him having the more physical front court. With Golden State, there's definitely health concerns around Stephen Curry. Jimmy Butler is obviously out, but what Golden State was able to do and how they got that win against Los Angeles, and with a guy like Steph Curry, you can never count them out of a game, but beating Oklahoma City in a 7-game series is a completely different thing. And I truly just believe that Oklahoma City has the better talent, better overall roster, and their defensive versatility is going to be able to shut down most of the primary options on both Phoenix and Golden State. And so for that reason, I'm picking the Thunder, and I truly think this is going to be a sweep no matter what team they're facing. So give me the Thunder in 4 games. Then we got the Los Angeles Lakers as the 4 seed in the Western Conference, going up against the Houston Rockets there as the 5 seed. And I think this could be a really good matchup, but it's going to depend on the health of the Los Angeles Lakers. Right now, this team has been injury riddled. Luka Doncic has that hamstring injury, and his availability is a massive concern. If Doncic doesn't play in this one, I think the Rockets definitely win the series. If he does, it could be a different story, but it's definitely going to be a competitive matchup. They're definitely going to be missing Austin Reeves, which is going to hurt their spacing and that secondary playmaking that he brings. And even if Luka plays, if he is limited, that could hurt him on the defensive end. It's going to slow him on the offensive end as well, and he might not be able to create separation like we see him do time and time again. But obviously, the Lakers have a guy in LeBron James who's still elite even at the age of 41, but I think it might be a little unrealistic for him to carry the Lakers in this series on his own. For the Houston Rockets, they're physical, they got a really deep roster and extremely athletic. Really strong perimeter defenders in Amen Thompson and others. And then obviously you have one of the best scorers in NBA history in Kevin Durant, and probably overall they're the better team when you take into consideration the health. I think some of their youth could hurt Houston, as we've seen in previous seasons in the playoffs. But in the end, just with all of the injury concerns around the Los Angeles Lakers and the talent that this Houston roster has, I truly believe that the Rockets are going to get the win over the Lakers in this series. But I do think it's still going to be a close one, regardless if Luka Doncic plays or is at 100%. So I have the Rockets winning, but I think they're going to win in 6 and advance to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder in the conference semifinal. Then we got the Nuggets as the 3 seed going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves as a 6 seed. And this matchup being in the first round is absolutely crazy. These are 2 teams that have the talent and the ability to get all the way to the conference finals and could even compete against a team like Oklahoma City to make it to the finals. And so I think both of these teams being in this first round matchup, it's going to be one of the better matchups that we see here in this round. For the Denver Nuggets, they have probably one of the best offenses in all of the NBA. Nikola Jokic is definitely going to be the best player in this series. I believe he's the best player in all of the NBA right now, but that's up for debate. Jamal Murray has been playing really good recently, and obviously we know he elevates his play when it comes to the playoffs. And then there's the supporting cast. Aaron Gordon has been playing really good. Christian Brown's shooting the ball better. Obviously, Peyton Watson, he has had a breakout season there for the Denver Nuggets this season. But their biggest issue is going to be that defense, because it's probably one of the worst defense among contenders for winning the NBA championship this season. But with how good that offense is, I still think they can overcome their defensive limitations. For Minnesota, obviously, they have Anthony Edwards, who continues to elevate his game time and time again each and every season, and is probably a top 10 player in the NBA in his own right. They got elite size and athleticism. Julius Randle, Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, just a lot of different pieces on this roster that I really like. I think this is going to be one of the higher scoring series in the NBA playoffs, and we're going to have continuous close finishes time and time again. In the regular season, Denver won the season series 3-1, which makes me lean Denver a little bit, and Denver was my pick in the preseason to win it all, and so I'm going to be sticking with it. I'm picking Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets to win this one, but I do think this is going to go either 6 or 7 games. I think Denver closes out at home in Game 7. So give me the Nuggets to advance to the conference semifinals. And they'll be going up against either the San Antonio Spurs, who are the 2 seed in the West, or the Portland Trailblazers there as the 7 seed. San Antonio, they won over 60 games this season, obviously behind the elite play of Victor Wembanyama, who has been dominant on the defensive end. But he's also a unique offensive player as well, obviously, with his size at 7'4", and this team has been elite on both ends. They got a really strong supporting cast with their guard trio of Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and then really nice wings that help provide spacing and defense for the San Antonio team. In Portland, it's really crazy to think that they're actually in the playoffs, but they have had a really good season. Denny Avdia has been awesome for the Trailblazers, an all-NBA type of talent, and they're healthy coming into the playoffs, and I truly think that this Portland team is actually a little bit underrated. They're better than their record suggests. They had a lot of injuries that they suffered as a team all season long, but now fully healthy in this matchup against the San Antonio Spurs. And if the Trailblazers were to get hot in one game, their shot making could definitely steal them a game, but I do believe San Antonio is the better team, and Victor Wembanyama in his first playoff series is going to get San Antonio to the second round, and I think maybe Portland wins a game, but that's it. I got San Antonio in 5, advancing to the conference semifinals. But jumping down to the Eastern Conference in round 1, we got the Pistons as the number 1 overall seed in the Eastern Conference, and that's kind of crazy to think about. If we would have talked about them 5 years ago, obviously they would have been nowhere near the NBA playoffs, and now they're the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Then we have the Charlotte Hornets or the Orlando Magic, who are going to be playing on Friday night for the chance to get the 8th seed. For the Detroit Pistons, they got elite defense. They're a very physical team that's honestly built for the playoffs. And then you have a guy in Cade Cunningham, who's one of the better players in the entire NBA. That's their primary creator, and he should be healthy and ready to go for this Detroit team. For the Orlando Magic, if they're able to get in, their offense has been extremely inconsistent, which I've been surprised at after the acquisition of Desmond Bane. It just hasn't really been exactly what I thought it would be for Orlando this season. And then the Hornets, obviously this team has had an incredible season behind their rookie Con Knipple and the play of LaMelo Ball. Brandon Miller looked really good as well. And if this team gets hot from deep in that game against Orlando, they definitely have a shot to beat the Magic and get the 8th seed. But going up against the Pistons, I truly don't think it matters for either of these teams. I do think Detroit is getting the win and advancing to the next round, but I do think both of these teams have the ability to steal a game over Detroit, so I am going to have the Pistons winning in 5 and clinching their spot in the conference semifinals. Then we have the Cavaliers as the 4 seed going up against the Toronto Raptors. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they have one of the deeper rosters in the NBA playoffs, and especially with the addition of James Harden, he's always going to elevate his play in the NBA playoffs as well. You got Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen there on the defensive end, which should be helpful on the interior, but there are some defensive vulnerabilities out on the perimeter with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden at time, especially Harden due to his inconsistency on that end. But it is the playoffs. I think he's going to take a step up there. And Donovan Mitchell, I really want this guy to have some success. So I do think this is going to be a big matchup against Toronto Raptors, who are a high variance team, but it's awesome to see them here as a 5 seed in the NBA playoffs. And they actually won the regular season series over the Cleveland Cavaliers, but obviously in most of those games, James Harden wasn't with the Cavs. Some big questions I have for this series, though, are going to be the 3-point shooting variance. The Cavaliers definitely should have the edge there. What is Toronto's rim protection going to look like against these Cleveland bigs? And then Brandon Ingram as a number 1 option for the Toronto Raptors. Is that enough to win a playoff series? I'm not 100% sure, so I do trust the Cavs a little more, but I do think this is going to be a competitive series. I just think overall, Cleveland has more talent, more star talent for sure. They got more depth as well. And although they have been inconsistent at times, I think they elevate their play in the playoffs and get it done in 6 games. And then we got the Knicks going up against the Atlanta Hawks. The New York Knicks making it to the conference finals last season, but obviously losing to Indiana, not making it any further. And the Knicks, just like they always do in the playoffs, they're going to have to lean on their stars. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. You need guys like OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges to step up, Josh Hart, obviously all of them. And this team is extremely elite in the half court, especially with that Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns pick and roll or pick and pop. I don't know if the Atlanta Hawks are going to be able to defend that. But for the Atlanta Hawks, they've been really strong post the trade deadline. However, there are some defensive issues and some questions that they have. They don't have Trae Young anymore, obviously trading him away. So they're going to need some of their young guys like Jalen Johnson, who's had an incredible season, Dyson Daniels, and others to really step up in this matchup. And I think the Hawks might be able to steal a game, but I don't think they get any more. So I got the Knicks winning this one in 5. Just trust the star power that New York has. Then we got the Celtics and the 76ers. Celtics as the 2 seed going up against the Philadelphia 76ers there as the 7 seed. In Boston, we know what they can do in the playoff. You got Jason Tatum, who is now back. Jaylen Brown playing as probably one of the best players in the NBA this season. Extremely balanced roster, but I'm not as scared of Boston as I have been in previous seasons. Obviously, no Drew Holiday, no Kristaps Porzingis. They don't have Al Horford anymore, and we saw what he just did for the Golden State Warriors in their game against the Clippers in the play-in. And so this Celtics team definitely looks different, but they still have the top-end talent with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. For the 76ers, this entire series is going to depend on Joel Embiid, whether or not he plays. Tyrese Maxey has had a great season. VJ Edgecombe looks like a really good rookie there for the 76ers, but is Joel Embiid available or not? I'm not 100% sure, and I believe that Boston is just the more consistent team, and obviously Philly has a lot of volatility there. So even with Embiid, I do like Boston still, but I don't think he's going to play. But even if he does, Boston still could win this in 5 or 6 games. So I got the Celtics winning in 5 and advancing to the semifinals. So jumping up to the second round in the Western Conference, I got Thunders versus Rockets and then Nuggets versus Spurs. In that first matchup of the Thunder and the Rockets, I think this is going to be one of the best second round matchups that we can get. Kevin Durant going back, facing the Oklahoma City Thunder. We all know how that went when he was at Oklahoma City and then obviously left to go to Golden State. Houston's physicality and their defense could slow Oklahoma City down, and then they have a guy in Kevin Durant that when they need a bucket, they can go to time and time again. And Oklahoma City, we have seen them being a little volatile in the half court. They've struggled with their execution at times, but I think this is going to be a grinded out series. Both teams are going to throw their punches. Both teams are going to win some games, but at the end of the day, the likely 2-time MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is on the Oklahoma City Thunder. We saw what they did last season. They've been the best team in the NBA for 2 seasons in a row, and I think this is a close one. I do believe it goes 7 games, but I got the Thunder to win in 7 and advance to the Western Conference Finals once again, and they're going up against either the Nuggets or the Spurs, and this is just 2 extremes when it comes to experience in the NBA playoffs. You got Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and the Denver Nuggets, who are recent NBA champions, and then obviously the San Antonio Spurs, who haven't been here in a while, especially in the Wemby era, and now you'll have other big pieces of the San Antonio team that are young in Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle. De'Aaron Fox doesn't have much playoff experience either, so this is a really interesting matchup, but I'm concerned with how Denver is going to guard Victor Wembanyama, and even some of these guards at times who are capable of going off. What are they going to do on those pieces? But I'm just not 100% sold that the youth and the Spurs are fully ready for a deep run in the playoffs. Now, they definitely can do it. They have the talent, but I trust Nikola Jokic, believe he's the best player in all of the NBA. Jamal Murray, we know he's going to elevate his play. This Denver Nuggets team has been here. They've proven it before, and I believe they get back to the conference finals. So I got the Nuggets with the slight upset over the Spurs. I think it's going to be a long series, but I got the Nuggets in 6 advancing to face the Thunder in the conference finals. Then we got the Pistons going up against the Cavaliers. The Pistons having an insane season, getting the 1 seed in the East and going up against James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And although the Cavs have all that talent, I truly believe that Cade Cunningham is the best player in this series, and he's going to make everyone around him better in Detroit. And so the biggest question is going to be Detroit's defense versus Cleveland's offense. Who is going to win that matchup? We know that Cleveland can do a lot. They have a lot of guys that can go ISO and get their own bucket, but I truly believe that Detroit has one of the best defenses in all of the NBA. And at times this season, we've seen Cleveland struggle against physical defenses, and this might be the most physical defense that they see all season long. So I'm sticking with the Pistons to get the win, and I got the Pistons winning in 7 at home and beating the Cleveland Cavaliers to advance to the conference finals. And then we got the Knicks going up against the Celtics. This just seems like a matchup that we continually get in the NBA playoffs time and time again. You got star power on both teams with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns for the New York Knicks, and then obviously the dynamic duo of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I haven't even mentioned Derek White for the Boston Celtics, who I think is going to be a huge piece in the Celtics playoff run this season. Also, Peyton Pritchard, who has stepped up big for Boston. The front court scares me a little bit for the Celtics. They're not as proven as they once were with Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis, but I think they can do enough to slow down this New York front court, and I believe that Boston is going to get the win over the Knicks. I got this one going to 7 games as well, and the Celtics are advancing once again to the Eastern Conference Finals. So in our conference finals, we got the Thunder and the Nuggets in the West, and we got the Pistons and the Celtics in the East. And so in the West, Thunder versus Nuggets, this is going to be maybe my favorite series, and I really hope we get this one. Now, for the Thunder, I think they have a pretty decent path to get to the conference finals. For the Nuggets, they got to go up against the Timberwolves and the Spurs. If the Nuggets are able to get here, they could be playing some really long series. I got them winning in 7 and 6 in their first 2 series. And the Thunder, they're only going to have played 9 games total if my predictions end up like I think they will. So a lot different in terms of games played in this playoffs. But the Nuggets, this team, I thought the Nuggets were great last season. This team looks even better. What they've done, adding in Tim Hardaway Jr., who is a candidate for 6th Man of the Year. Bruce Brown looks good. As I mentioned, Christian Brown is also playing at an elite level. This Nuggets team is just looking really good right now. And I'm choosing Nikola Jokic over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which I could be eating my words in that one because of what Shai has been able to do and the dominance that he's had over the past couple of seasons. But I truly believe OKC might be the better team overall, just slightly, but Denver has the best player in Jokic, and I'm not sure if Chet Holmgren or anybody on this Thunder team is going to be able to slow him down. So Nikola Jokic has a big series and is able to get the Nuggets past the Thunder in 7 games and advance to the NBA Finals. And then we got the Pistons versus Celtics, which this would be another phenomenal matchup here in the Eastern Conference Finals. For Boston, we obviously know that they're proven. They've been here before. They've won an NBA title recently. But as I mentioned, they don't scare me as much as they used to. And this Detroit team, if their offense gets going, we know what their defense can do. They definitely can win this series. But at the end of the day, I think Boston's offense is too much for Detroit. It's a great run, but I think Detroit's run comes to an end. Cade Cunningham and co. is not able to get past Boston. So I got Boston winning in 6 and advancing to the NBA Finals. And we got the Nuggets and the Celtics in our matchup for the NBA Finals. And like I mentioned, the Denver Nuggets were my pick in the preseason, and I really think I'm going to be sticking with them. Their defense would be historically weak for a champion, but this offense and having a guy in Nikola Jokic, you can never count them out. They have the best player in the series in Nikola Jokic. They got the best offense in the playoffs, and I think guys like Jamal Murray, obviously Jokic, even Aaron Gordon, others, there's going to be elite shot making that is had by this Denver Nuggets team, and I think they're able to beat the Boston Celtics, and I got the Denver Nuggets winning despite the defensive concerns just because of what this offense and Nikola Jokic can do. I got them winning in 6 and once again becoming NBA champions. But that wraps it up for this one. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of my NBA playoff predictions and who do you think is going to win each series and who do you have winning the NBA Finals this season. Also, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.